Hello, it's John Lord here, and we're doing part 2 of what do you do after you chop down the tree video. And as I explained in the last video, we chopped down a large tree, and the tree was taking a lot of everything out of the soil, which meant that I didn't bother much with this piece of ground. But now, as the tree is gone, we just suddenly realised what a good place this is and what we can do with it. So we started off with small ambitions, and the ambitions are getting bigger all the time. Now we had some, mostly ferns. We had a lot of ferns planted because the ferns are great, evergreen ferns, for dry conditions, shady conditions. They just hang on, don't do much, but they're a good structural plant. So what we did is we took up most of the ferns and we left 2 groups, one there and one there. So when we noticed we had ferns, we had quite good foliage contrast, lots of different foliage. So we decided to put 2 more clumps of shrubs in, and then everything else is going to be herbaceous. And we have a shrub here already. This is our hydrangea. And so we decided to put some Mahonias here, and we put a Fatsia over there, and I'll show you why. Now, by the way, this is one of the ferns we lifted. You can see very similar looking. One was too similar to the other, and one didn't help the other. So we're going to put something there that's much better contrast. But this is an example. This is a Mahonia, and you can see it's a very distinct leaf shape. And this one is a very distinct leaf shape as well. It's a castor oil plant, and you can see the great variety, the great contrast between the 2. So we put 3 of these here and one of those over there. And we wanted, because we have bamboos here with a very small leaf, we wanted to contrast the small with the big. So that's our shrubs done. As I mentioned before, we have this lovely euphorbia. We have this lovely euphorbia here, and we're going to plant a nice clump of perennials here, just all the same. Now it's a sort of lightish colour here, so we might go for something darkish, I don't know. Now here, I want to show you something here. This is important. This separates the men from the boys, believe it or not. And the mistake a lot of people make in gardening is that they don't clear the blackboard properly before they write on it again. And this is important, very important. When I took the ferns out, I noticed a lot of this. And I wondered, I'd forgotten what it was. It's called mouse-tailed arum. I can't remember the fancy botanical name, but it flowers in the late spring, and the flowers look, for all intents and purposes, look like mice sort of trying to escape into the ground with their little tails hanging out, and that's why it's called mouse-tailed arum. The problem with it, I must have planted it, I don't even remember planting it. The problem is it was starting to take over, and it's very leafy after the flowers, and it's only a plant really it's not particularly attractive, but it's just sort of nice to have it. Now, so if I left any of this, it would take over again. So before I plant here, I'm going to make sure this is all gone. So what I'll do is I won't plant this out until about April, at which stage all of this will be up above the ground and I've got rid of it all. And second very important point is I know it's there, so if I miss any stragglers I can come and remove them. And how much do you have to remove? 95, 99, 100%. You have to get rid of it all. If you have even a small amount, off it'll go back again. And that's important. Here's more of it. Look, just keep pulling it up. Loads of it. We get rid of every bit. Now we're going to mention the few perennial plants we're going to put in here. This is one of the plants we're going to use. It's Pye Weed, and we are in the heading towards the far end of November. Might even snow, so you can see it gives a good structure right up to Christmas. And we're going to actually lift this entire plant, and we're going to spread it out, and that's going to make us a big clump. That's the Pye Weed. That's the first plant we're going to use. And let me see. I'll get a spade and I'll dig a piece out. Now always, it's important to always find out exactly where it's going into the ground and is it splittable. Oh, look at this here, what we found. Football. Have a look. Yeah, there we are. We'll have absolutely no trouble splitting that, and we'll get loads as much as we want there. So that's our first plant. Now we look at the other two plants. The plant we're going to use at the front is this Astilbe. It's Visions in Pink. The reason why we're removing it from here is the hedge was taking a lot of water out, and it didn't perform to its best this year. It's a much wetter spot over there, so it'll be perfect. And it has a leaf that's very different than the Pye Weed. So when I put in combinations of plants, I go by leaf shape. I keep saying this: leaf shape, leaf texture, so it doesn't look like a mess. Everything is different, and you're getting a bit of coherence. So that's a doddle now. Look, anybody, it's so easy. There you go. I won't do that till the spring because, as I said, there's perennial weeds or plants that, well, they're not weeds, but a weed is a plant in the wrong place. There's sort of weeds over there, so we have to get rid of all of them before we can put this in. And we want to put a taller plant in here. You see there, roughly the same height. I want something maybe this height, so it goes up like that. And that's our second plant, and our third one we're going to put in a Filipendula, and it's over here. Okay, the third plant we'd probably use is a Filipendula. It's a Filipendula that looks very well in the spring as new growth comes up. It has it's a sort of a chestnut type leaf, a palmate leaf, and very different than the leaves of the other perennials. I'm not 100% certain I will use it, but what you can see about it is it's in sort of a slightly shady spot, and it's holding up well, and it's holding onto the foliage as well. So 50-50 we'll use that. Let me see, what will I say? That's us on what you do after you chop down a tree.